It is this. Ever since Jesus' day, literally, ever since Jesus' day, people have been coming along to say, I can tell you when Jesus is coming back. I have read the signs and I know it's going to happen. The first one we have record of was not long after Jesus' death in AD 53. This was before all the books of the Bible had even been written, much less compiled. There was a movement that said Jesus had already come back. A Roman priest living in the 2nd century said that Jesus was coming back, said that he had studied the dimensions of Noah's Ark. And based on the dimensions of Noah's Ark, he could state with certainty that Jesus was coming back in 500 AD. I could give you no less than 50 or 60 dates that have been set that got much attention. 1000 AD, 1033, 1186, 1420, 1534. I mean, we could go on and on up until the 20th century when Charles Russell, who founded the Jehovah's Witnesses in 1914, said Jesus is coming back in 1914. And then he didn't, so he said Jesus was coming back in 1918. You know, the poor Jehovah's Witnesses, they have set 9 dates so far. None of them have been right, but they're still setting dates that Jesus is going to come back. The first one I remember being aware of was in 1988. I was 17. You remember the book, 88 Reasons That Jesus Will Come in 1988. Well, he didn't. The same guy that wrote that book wrote another one. 89 Reasons Jesus Will Come in 1989. I kid you not. And what's worse than that? Crazy people bought it and believed Jesus was coming back. Then you get to the 1990s, and then there's these jokers all over the place. Now, Harold Camping, we first met him in 1994 when Harold Camping said Jesus was coming back in 1994. The same Harold Camping that said he was coming back in May of 2011, and the world was going in October 2011. Of course, we all remember the millennium, right? All the people saying the world was going to end in 2000, and now the current rage is the Mayan calendar, right? The world's going to end on December 31st, 2012, they say. Millions, probably by now, billions of dollars have been spent. Millions of believers, not unbelievers, millions of believers have been bamboozled. Many people's faith has been irreparably damaged by listening, listen to me, I don't say this lightly, by these predictions made by wolves in sheep's clothing. You hear me this morning, you hear what I'm telling you. Jesus could not be more clear. Look at it again in verse 36. No one knows. What part of that do we not get? No one knows about that day or hour. Not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Let that soak in for a minute. You don't need me to explain that. You don't need a commentary to enlighten. No one knows. Let me tell you, I'm not even comfortable saying Jesus is coming soon. I don't know if he is or not. I know he's coming. I believe the next thing on the great calendar of God is the rapture of the church that sets the stage for the return of Jesus. But I'm telling you, I think we violate principles of Scripture if we even say he's coming soon. Jesus works hard here to teach us that we don't need to get wrapped up on a timetable, that we don't need to waste our time trying to put a date on the calendar. And you remember this, and I'll move on and we'll finish this message, that anybody who tries to intimate that they have any knowledge about the date of Jesus' return, they're banking on two things. They're banking on the fact that you either don't know the Scripture or you don't believe the Scripture. They're banking on you to be biblically ignorant or biblically unconvinced. Because unless you're biblically ignorant or biblically unconvinced, you're going to know as soon as they tell you when Jesus comes back that they are not a man of God. And I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody, but I'm simply saying, Jesus said, nobody knows.